Oh, the beige. Welcome back to Gethin's channel, and I've got a nice long pot of barley wine to enjoy here. I've had a few already, as you can probably tell. And the purpose of tonight's video is to discuss the meaning of luxury. What does it mean, and why do we want it? I want it, but my watery potato brain is far too dense to be able to achieve this level of metabolic satisfaction. But I would like to explain it to you, as you probably know, that luxury is something that adds pleasure or comfort to one's life, whilst not being absolutely necessary. I think it's desirable, but costly. And this is about luxury watches, or entry-level luxury watches, what I consider to be entry-level, because there's 3 levels of luxury, I think. There's accessible luxury, which these 4 watches represent. Then there's intermediate luxury, which is a little bit higher up the tier. And then there's inaccessible luxury, which is for the likes of Bezos and the rest of those cunts. But entry-level luxury, I think, in watch terms, is a watch of from £1,000 to £3,000 or dollars, pretty similar. Of course, it's entirely subjective and it depends entirely on your income and what you consider luxury, but I think something that costs a lot of money for you is a luxury item. Of course, exclusivity does up the ante in our water brains, and appearance does convey status, and expense is reassuring. We all know that. We like the expensive thing. It means we feel good about the fact that we've been able to buy something that costs a lot of money. But for most of us, who spend the majority of our incomes on need-based expenses, the purchase of a luxury good is a type of conspicuous consumption that we don't often get to enjoy. So let's get into this review. All my regular viewers will have seen these all before, a million times, but this is hopefully for new viewers. I'm going to title this video something like Entry-Level Luxury Watches Under £3,000, and we'll start off with this watch, which is a marvellous piece. It is the Seiko SLAO 23. Now, this is the Marine Master. It's a 300-meter professional diver. It's a saturation diver's watch. It has no helium escape valve because it's hermetically sealed and has no case back, as you can see. Now, this watch costs 2,800 British pounds, or approximately 3,100 American dollars in America. For my American friends, I love you, bros. Big up yourselves. It's a big watch, and these also, all 4 of these are large dive watches, which was the other point of the video. Large behemoths. Now, this one is 15.4 millimeters thick, with a 44.3 millimeter diameter, a 50.5 millimeter lug to lug, and a 20 millimeter lug spacing with drilled lugs. And it is a beautiful piece with a fantastic 120 click unidirectional bezel, and it's Seiko's top tier. It's top tier of Seiko, and it's not gonna win you any plaudits for the Rolex crowd, but it is just a fantastic watch. It's great. It has a fantastic clasp with a ratcheting dive extension, on the fly ratcheting, very good. Pin and collar. It's a 1-piece link, looks like a 3-piece, and it's pin and collar, but this watch is absolutely beautiful. It has the Seiko 8L35B movement. That's a 4 Hz movement with a 50-hour power reserve, extremely accurate, and it's a sensational watch. Look at the handset, look at the quality. I mean, you can see we have the mirror polish, the Zaratsu hand polish technique, from these little midgety artisans of the Seiko family. It takes many years to perfect this skill, and you won't find it on lesser watches. It's a beautiful watch, and I absolutely love it. It is featuring a 10-4 crown. So I'll mention the crown positions of all these twaps and a ceramic bezel here with an internal dome crystal. This is just a fantastic watch, and the wrist shot will follow shortly. Let's have a look at him on my wrist. There he is. Get a piece of this, bros. So this is an entry-level luxury watch. To me it's high-end luxury, but yes, look at him. Something else for the beach. Now, going on from there, we're going to drop back a bit, and this is a lovely watch from Orient, both of these two are in-house watches, which means that these two here are not all in-house. This means that every component and part of the watch was manufactured in-house by the brand that is named on the dial. So every single element of the watch, all in-house. The movement, the dial, the hands, the bezel, everything in-house. And Orient is a sister company of Seiko, owned by the Epsom Seiko Corporation, and this is their flagship model. It's no longer produced. It's the Orient Saturation Diver SCLO 2002BO. It's an ISO certified diver, just like the Marine Master is, and it is often considered to be the competitor, or was considered to be the competitor of the Marine Hui. So this watch is Orient's best ever watch, in my opinion. It's the best watch they ever made. Why they don't make it anymore, I don't know. It cost £1,000 new, and now I think you can pick these up new, unworn or in great condition, from £1,000 to £1,300, or about $1,200 to $1,400 for a good one. It's a 4 o'clock crown here, exactly 4 o'clock, not like the Hui, which is 10-4. But he is out-angling the Marine Master. He is probably the biggest watch I've ever had. This is a behemoth of a watch with a massive 45.7 millimeter diameter, almost 46 millimeters, and a thickness of 16.6 millimeters. It is a huge, tall watch, and a massive lug-to-lug of 45 millimeters. 22 millimeter lug spacing, and this one has a 5 millimeter thick sapphire crystal. Again, it has no helium escape valve. This is a saturation diver's watch, just like the Marine Master. He gas divers here, 300 meters of water resistant, beautiful case back with the Orient crest, solid end links, drilled lugs, etc. It does feature a lower end movement, which is the 40 N5A 3 Hz or 21,600 vibration per hour movement. This features a 4 Hz, and look at the sweeps. You can quite clearly see the juddery sweep of the Orient compared to the smooth sweep of the Marine Hui. But don't let that put you off, because this watch is less than half the price, and pound for pound, he is punching well above his weight here. You've got a signed crown, a smooth, beautiful bezel, and look at the size of the bezel. Absolutely beautiful, painted and debossed indices, a Lume pip that's shrouded and protected, oyster style bracelet with polished flanks, and again, you might recognize this is the same clasp found on this Marine Master. They share the clasps. This one is a titanium clasp, this one is a stainless steel, but they are exactly the same. So that's quite good. And what a great watch it is. Absolutely fantastic. Wrist shot for the beach. This is not for the faint of heart or the spaghetti wristed amongst us. This is not for you. It is gigantor. Even for me, with my 29-inch wrist, it looks quite large, and you don't want to wear it all day because your arm will end up extremely tired. But what a great watch. Fantastic Lume. And of course he has the power reserve indicator on the dial, which is a bone of contention for many people, but I like it. So that is the second, and this is the sort of bottom end of entry-level luxury, but I mean, you couldn't really say Orient was a luxury brand, but this is the top piece they do, and this is known to all. And you got to remember, guys, these big floppers will flop, so you must wear them fairly tightly. They are pendulous on the wrist, and they will swing about like a wrecking ball if you don't clamp them down fairly well. So bear that in mind when looking into hefty twerps. The next twerp on the list tonight will be this rather nice Swiss piece, and this is the only Swiss piece here, and this is the Doxa Sub 1500T Sea Rambler. This watch carries a water resistance rating of 1500 meters and is the only one on the list to feature a helium escape valve as seen there betwixt bottom and top of the lugstons. This watch costs 2,390 British pounds, and to my mind, I've looked it up. In America, it seems to cost the same amount of money, but in dollars. So if you live in America, you can pick these up cheaper because it costs $2,390. Let me imbibe some barley wine. So this is, I would call, this is a luxury piece, but it's a jewel-like piece with its polished outer bezel. Exceptional bracelet. Doxa's bracelets are out-angling everybody in their price point. They really are. This bracelet is leaps and bounds ahead of any of the rest of the ones in this class here. And also the clasp is also fantastic with its on-the-fly ratcheting, fully milled, proper, not for homos, bro. This clasp is freaky. And look at the case back. Patented bezel. We've got the helium escape, and we've got the Doxa fish, which is the Jenny family logo. Jenny watches. It's not the Doxa logo, but it's very good. Absolutely great. Solid end links, and these are not spring bars. These are screwed in end links, and this is a 19mm bracelet, which is quite unfortunate. But we'll forget about that. Let's put him on. So the Doxa is a large and heavy bastard. He's over 220 grams, and he is 45mm in diameter. He's 16.6mm thick with this domed, massively domed crystal. And look at that, it almost looks like an oil-filled watch. Very thick. It's 47 lug to lug, so it's a short lug to lug, which makes it much more wearable. I would say you could wear this with a 7-inch wrist, and it has this 21mm lug width. This one features the ETA 2892 movement, which everybody knows. You'll all know it. It's a Swiss movement, and it's a very thin movement, which allows, I think, this watch to encapsulate it well and allows much more depth and thickness in the materials used to provide this water rating, which it features. It's a 28.8 vibration per hour, 4 Hz, 21 joule. It's a 42-hour power reserve, and strangely, Doxa states that it's a 50-hour power reserve with 25 joules, so I don't know what's going on there. But I know for a fact that 2892 is not a 50-hour power reserve. But it's a beautiful piece, and this 5-link bracelet is just a sight to be seen. Look at that. Look at the state of it. It's extremely well made, manufactured to a high standard. Screwed links. This clasp is fantastic. I'll give another wrist show because it's just so freaky, bros. Morris dancing, not even once. Mr. June wants one of these. He wants the Shark Hunter variant, which is the black one. Hopefully he'll get it one day. And the bezel is something else. Doxa bezel with the decompression table on the inner bezel, brushed. Something very, very special about this watch, and I love it. So that's that watch. And the last watch in my little video tonight of entry-level luxury watches is a German. It's a Hitler Jazz, and this is something completely different from all the others on the list. This is the Zinn U1, and this one is the fully tegumented version. This insignia denotes its full teg status. It is a special process that renders the steel of this watch at 1500 Vickers of hardness, 5 times harder, at least, than normal 316L. And this is a lovely watch. This one features also no helium valve escape. This is 1,000 meters of water resistance. So you've got 1,500, 1,000 and 2,300s here. The watch costs £2,825 in its fully tegimented form. The non-fully tag version costs £2,410. The full tag version is about $3,200. And this one has the crown. Well, this one, I forgot to tell you, the Doxa is a 3 o'clock crown. This one is a 10 past 4 crown. This is not ISO certified. This is certified by the DNV, which is some kind of German regulatory company that regulates and certifies all kinds of industrial gubbins. It's a freaky 60-click bezel, extremely loud, and it's a captive bezel. And what does that mean? Well, that means that it's screwed on with these little micro screws around here, so you can't knock it off when you're diving at 1,000 meters, because I'm quite often doing that, and I'm struggling to keep my bezels on my twerps when I'm down in the depths of old briny. It is a 44mm watch in diametrational terms, and it is 14.7mm thick. Look at him, quite thin really for a 1,000-meter diver. He has a 50.5mm lug to lug, 22mm lug width, with drilled lugs of course, and this one carries the Sellita SW200 movement. This is a Swiss movement. It carries 28.8 thousand vibrations per hour and a 38-hour power reserve. The USA dealer for these Zinn watches is a bit hard to find over there. I think there's one called Watch Buys, and they're selling it for $3,200. Corrosion resistance submarine steel is featured, and it's all about the handset here with the Zinn and the dial. The handset, of course, needs no explanation. Look at the state of it. Is it Lego? Is it Roblox? Matte black dial, insanity. And it's double AR coated, so aside from the smudge magnetism of it, which is quite irritating, if you keep it clean, it is the most insane, invisible crystal I've ever had. You just can't see it, and it, from all angles, even in broad day, it looks out of the spaghetti field. So that's what we've got. And it also has a silly little idiotic dive extension. The only drawback of this twerp is its weak clasp, which is stamped with no deployant, press fit, 3 micros and no ratcheting. Such a shame for such a high-end piece, but it is extremely great. That's what we've got, guys. If you're in the market for some entry-level luxury, if you want to move up a bit, then you're looking up to Omega, Rolex, of course, and you know, onto Blancpain, IWC, etc. But what can we do? Well, how will Geffen do a Lume shot in broad daylight? Well, you might ask me that, but I've got an idea. So I'm going to transfer us to another room that's a bit darker, because the lume on these watches does vary. So I'm going to lume them up, and then I'll try to carry them all without breaking them into the bedroom. Mr. George is there, playing his games, and that's my living room, guys. What do you think about that? Get rid of it! Here we go. I've prepared my bedroom for this particular show. So we're going to lume them up a bit more, and you'll get a good idea of the lume of these 4 twerps. Here we are. So we can clearly see here that Mr. Marine is winning by far. The Doxa is well known for his weak lume, and this lume will not last very long. The Orient's coming in a strong second, and although the Zinn doesn't look very bright, it does glow for a very long time, so it's quite tactical. It's a tactical piece for the beach. That's it, guys. Luxurious though they may be, we can all attain them if we try hard enough. I love you, bros. Appreciate you, bros. Get rid of it for the beach and shut the fuck up.